Okay, good evening. It's another wonderful Friday evening. This Friday being the last Friday of the year 2023. And we welcome you to the program. That's Revelation Hour. God bless you for making time every Friday evening to watch this program. God bless you so much. And our brothers and sisters who are also watching us on Trinity TV, we welcome you and we say God bless you. In fact, we cannot start the program without thanking you for your support in prayer, in cash, in kind, in advice. We say God bless you so much for doing that and sustaining the program till date. But the battle has not ended yet, so we still need money to pay for the airtime. So as we are thanking you, we are still pleading with you to also help us with some money to pay for the airtime. The year has ended, so we have to settle all our debt. And if you want to support us, you can send it to our widow's, our mobile account, that's 055 3574 933. As the program goes on, you can see it on your screens. That's 055 3574 933. And anytime you send money, the name that will come is Evangelist Joseph Ananis' name. So please take note of that. This evening we are doing On the Mount of Olives, part 5. That's what we are doing this evening with 16 videos. My name is Evangelist Kofi Kakari, and the servant of God, the man whom if you call prophet, you are not far from the truth, is here with us, Evangelist Joseph Anani. Evangelist, good evening.
Good evening.
Another Friday evening, and it's time for Revelation Hour, with 16 videos on Mount of Olives, part 5.
Yes. We thank God. I think it's a timely topic we are handling.
That's right.
On the Mount of Olives. And it has to do with the disciples with Christ wanting to know the signs of Christ coming and of the end of the world.
That's right.
And that question that was posed to Christ, the answers are rather meant for us, the last generation, and not for them.
Okay.
Yes. So it's timely. And we'll begin by reading from Matthew 24, 1 to 3.
Okay.
It says, and as verse 1 says, this is Matthew 24, 1.
Okay. Even before you read Matthew chapter 24 verse 1, let me alert our viewers that we are streaming live on Facebook. So please, even if you are seated behind your set, your TV set, still pick up your smartphone, go to Home Base TV, Ghana. You will see the program, the link of the program over there, like the program, and then share it for us so that other people can also get access to the program. Please do that for us. God bless you.
Fine.
Evangelist, Matthew 24, 1.
Yes. Says, and Jesus went out and departed from the temple. And his disciples came to him for to show him the buildings of the temple. That's verse 1. And Jesus said unto them, see ye not all these things? Verily I say unto you, there shall not be left here one stone upon another that shall not be thrown down. 3. Which is the key.
That's right.
And as he sat upon the Mount of Olives, the disciples came unto him privately, saying, tell us when this thing shall be. What shall be the sign of thy coming and of the end of the world? This is the matter. So the answers began coming from Christ. Our point this evening and for the past weeks, today is part 5.
That's right.
From part 1, day 1, we have dealt with the signs concerning the destruction of Jerusalem. Because in the times of the disciples, that was their sign, and that belonged to them.
That's right.
The last sign given before the destruction of Jerusalem is written in Matthew 24, 15 and Luke 21, 20. Which talks about the abomination of desolation. Yes, we have explained it over here time and again. And again, this evening, we are to explain it.
That's right.
In Matthew 24, 15, when Christ said, when ye therefore shall see the abomination of desolation, spoken of by Daniel the prophet at the holy place. Luke explains that abomination of desolation in verse 20 of chapter 21. That when ye shall see Jerusalem compassed with armies, know that desolation thereof is nigh. So the armies which came to surround Jerusalem were in them not the abomination. No. But they brought abominable military equipment.
Yes, that's right.
Yes. And it all has to do with their symbols here, the emblems here, which was tattooed on their weapons. Some were sculpted there, some were scripted there, whatever. We are told that when they were coming, they came with the signs of the Roman gods. Yes. And those Roman gods were directly, they worshipped the sun god. And they brought emblems of the sun god, which was an abomination
in Israel.
To Israel, yes. It was an abomination. So Christ told them that when they shall see that abomination, that maketh desolate. When they see the abomination, it means that the city will be destroyed.
That's right.
Yes. So a picture from the Encyclopedia Britannica that I have managed to squeeze on the screen is when they brought all these things, it showed that yes, the time for the destruction has come. And they didn't bring it for bringing sake. They trusted in their sun gods that when they bring those emblems before them, the gods will be on their side to destroy Israel.
That's right.
That was it. So Christ told them that when they see that sign, it was the sign to flee the city. And the sign came. Now video 1, to tell whether the destruction of the temple came on or not, together with the city.
Per the promise of Jesus Christ, is the temple still in place or not? Production, please, video 1. If you're ready, roll it for us.
We are going to be studying together one of the most important monuments to survive from Roman antiquity, but it's not just about Roman antiquity. Our course is about the Arch of Titus and the destruction of Jerusalem by the Romans, how it was celebrated by the Romans, how it's been mourned by Jews for 2,000 years, how Christians have intersected with this arch. We are talking about the Arch of Titus, from Rome to Jerusalem and back. We're talking about an artifact that we can follow around the world to learn about, to understand, to give meaning to. The overarching themes of our course are the place of the Jews in the Roman world, the place of the imperial might of Rome in the history of Western culture, and how these communities have interacted and transformed over a 2,000 years period. Seeing this object, which is just dead stones, as a living object in our cultural heritage.
Okay, welcome. We've watched a video. I think this is the first time we are watching this video.
Yes, this particular video.
Explain to it.
Yes. The producer, one Professor Stephen Fine, that's his name, of university, the Yeshiva University.
That's right.
He produced the video. And it's so a hard evidence, let me say. It's a hard evidence that indeed Jerusalem was destroyed, including the temple. And you can see the artifacts transferred all the way from Jerusalem to Rome.
That's right.
The video is depicting what has been done as the Arch of Titus in Rome.
That's right.
Yes. And each time people go to, as tourists, they go to watch or see all these things, it reminds them of what took place in Jerusalem. And then what took place in Jerusalem also reminds us of what Christ said. So indeed, what Christ said will happen came to pass. And then Jesus Christ added the signs of his coming, which also contained an abomination of desolation for the people who will be living at the coming of Christ.
Okay.
So I will say that in the prophecy of the return of Jesus Christ, there are two abominations of desolations, all coming from the same source, the sun gods. One, we've seen that of Jerusalem. When Christ was talking to the disciples, he told them in Luke 21:31, that so likewise ye, that is, the generation that shall live after the destruction of Jerusalem, and then at the coming of Christ. That generation, Christ is telling them, so likewise ye, when ye shall see these things come to pass, knowing that the kingdom of God is at hand. Yes. The signs given to show the end of the world and also of the second coming of Christ contain the abomination of desolation. That of destruction of Jerusalem contained it, and then that of the end of the world also contains it.
Okay.
This may beat the minds of many people, but the videos will just explain
them.
The next video.
Okay, production, please, video 2. Let's watch it.
And speaking specifically of the Holy See has a unique role among religions in that it has a diplomatic representation. It's present throughout the world. How do you see the unique role of the Pope and the Holy See in addressing issues like climate change?
You know that the Pope is very interested, very, very much so. And the evidence of that are the 2 documents he produced, Laudato Si, which was really a reference point of many leaders of the world and of many governments at the time of the COP of Paris, when they signed the agreement about the climate changes. And now the Laudate Deum, which is a document trying to up-to-date the Laudato Si. And of course, the Holy See is not is interested in all the aspects of the problem. Also, the Holy See is speaking about reduction of gas emission, the problem of the increasing of the sea, and so on. But our focus is especially on 2 things, on 2 particular issues. First of all is lifestyle. It's not enough to put more money inside that. Oh, they need money just for mitigation and adaptation. No, of course, I am not saying that it's not important to put money in this issue, but it's not enough. We have to really to change our way of living, just not to aggress the creation, not to aggress the nature, but to be stewards, as the Pope said, no? And this is the task entrusted by God to the humankind when He created him. And then to education, this is another very important point, to educate the new generation, just to have to use in a different way of the resources of this world. And this is a universal, worldwide commitment of the Holy See. We took this in signing also the agreement, the Paris Agreement. It was precisely this the point stressed by the Holy See, because we have also a part of our commitment is regards Vatican, the Vatican City, and at this stage we can take some measure, some concrete measure, but of course our state is a very small one. We don't have a significant impact to the phenomenon. But we feel that we can really give a great contribution.
Evangelist, from the horse's own mouth, a Catholic priest explaining the reason for the Laudato Si and how far it's gone to.
Beyond that, a whole cardinal, and he's number 2 in command.
Oh, okay.
Pietro Parolin speaking. Yes, COP28. One of the interviews that he gave. And my point is that he said the Laudato Si was a reference point for the governors and head of states who were there
in the world, around the world.
And then he explained it. The Laudato Si contains what I refer to as the abomination of desolation. They should mark my words and read my lips, talking from the Bush experience. Again, let me repeat, the Laudato Si contains, I don't say is, but it contains the abomination of desolation. And as we make progress, it will pop up. The Cardinal told us that it was a reference point, yes, at the Paris Agreement. There are many things which the Laudato Si made mention of, but the abomination of desolation is the day of the sun on which it was worshipped. The Sunday which it introduced to the heads of states and government representatives who accepted it and then they adopted it into the Paris Agreement. The Sunday day of worship, which he brought up to be a day of rest to combat the global emission in the name of the Sabbath of the Lord. That's where the abomination is.
Okay.
If we wanted the planet to rest, then we should go by the manual which the Lord has given in the Bible, which the seventh day. The first day to be a day of worship, a day of rest, with as far as the climate is concerned, to combat emissions and what have you. That idea, it's religious and scientific. Religiously, it is coming from a pagan background, and it is an abomination. The rest, I leave it with them.
Okay.
Yes. Now, not that alone. He said the Laudato Si was a reference point. Yes, indeed. Once it's the reference point, when you read it, it contains the loss and damage. It's on page 37 to 38 on the Laudato Si.
Okay.
Not only that, it also has the plastic, avoiding or reducing plastic and paper use.
Evangelist, please hold on for me. The technical people, I'll plead with you that I'm receiving some messages that Home-Based TV, the sound is not coming. So please work on it for us. That's the information I'm having. So please, the technical people, work on it for us. Okay, Evangelist.
Yes. The Laudato Si has the Sunday rest, which is the abomination. I'm saying it has the loss and damage. I'm not calling that one abomination. It also talks about avoiding plastic and paper, reducing water consumption, and then planting of trees and separation of refuse.
Which there is nothing wrong with that.
There are nothing wrong with these things. Now, all the things which I have mentioned, when you look at the Paris Agreement, Article 14.2, they made mention that there will be a global stock take when we get to 2023. Yes, Article 14 and -2. It will be on the screen in a moment.
Okay.
Yes. The Conference of the Parties, 7 as, yes.
The Conference of the Parties, 7 as the meeting of the parties to the Paris Agreement,
Yes.
shall undertake its first global stocktake in 2023 and every 5 years thereafter, unless otherwise decided by the Conference of the Parties, 7 as the meeting of the parties to the Paris Agreement.
Very well. So back in 2015, it was decided that in 2023, there will be a global stocktake.
That's right.
And that stocktake would also be referring to the Laudato Si because it was a reference point from day one.
That's right.
So it was generally a stocktaking that was coming to happen to check how far we have gone with the Laudato Si. Good. And as part of the process to check whether we've gone through the process of Laudato Si and then the regulations and what have you that he brought. When you look at paragraph 211 on pages 154, 155 on the Laudato Si, it talks about avoiding the use of paper and then plastic. Yes, let's see whether something like that did happen because it was the UN that was at the meeting. The next videos.
Okay, production, please, video 3 and 4. Please roll them for us.
Yes.
Video 3 and 4.
And we will now turn to the draft resolution entitled End Plastic Pollution towards an internationally legally binding instrument, that is UNEA EA5L23. May I take it that the Assembly wishes to adopt this draft resolution? I see no objections. It is so decided.
Protesters got their message across outside UNESCO headquarters in Paris to say choose people over polluters, raising concerns about the influence of industry lobbies on discussions. Inside, the UN Environment Programme, hosting talks, released a blueprint to reduce plastic waste by 80% by 2040 and warned against halfway measures.
Only elimination, reduction, a full life cycle approach, transparency, and a just transition, only those can bring success. Because the truth is that we cannot recycle our way out of this mess.
The stakes are high in finalising a global treaty on plastic pollution. 1 million plastic bottles are purchased every minute worldwide. Up to 5 trillion plastic bags are used each year, and half of all the plastic we use is designed for single use only.
Plastic pollution is everywhere.
Countries are divided. Around 50 nations are in a coalition to reduce use and production, with others such as the US and China insisting better waste management is the answer.
This redesign of our waste systems.
On one hand, we have the High Ambition Coalition. It's a group of states committed to a strong ambition, including the European Union, Canada, and Mexico. And on the other hand, we have the United States, China, Saudi Arabia, and Russia, who are less ambitious and prefer to have voluntary measures on end of.
Okay, welcome. You've watched videos 3 and 4. Let's go to Evangelist for the explanation. But don't forget, we are streaming live on Facebook. So please join us on Facebook and then share the program for us. Evangelist.
Yes. The video talks for itself.
That's right.
Talking about plastic pollution. The Laudato Si brought it up at the Paris Agreement. And the cardinal was on the reference point. And in 2021, 2022, we saw it on the TV.
That's right.
Very good. And to top it up, this document is coming from the United Nations Environmental Program.
Okay. Intergovernmental Negotiating Committee on Plastic Pollution.
There we go.
That's in March 2022.
Sure.
At the resumed 5th session of the UN Environmental Assembly. That's UNEA 5.2. Okay. A historic resolution was adopted to develop an international legally binding instrument on plastic pollution, including in the marine environment.
Very good. We can end it there.
Okay.
At least we have the evidence there by TV and by the UN document.
That's right.
That there was an international program championed by the United Nations Environmental Program on plastics. That's what the cardinal said. The Laudato Si was a reference point. So when they met in Paris with the Laudato Si as a foundation, so everything was coming up.
Their main source of information was from the
Laudato Si. So it instructed the UN to help lower plastic productions and eventually clear it off. And they have launched it. We have the video.
Okay.
Then it also mentioned of planting of trees. Understand? Because
right.
I just want to follow the cardinal statement that it was a reference point. The planting of trees in the Laudato Si, paragraph 211, pages 154, 155.
That's right.
The next one.
Evidence-based program. So production, please, videos 5 and 6. Let's watch it.
We are rapidly reaching the point of no return for the planet. We face a triple environmental emergency: biodiversity loss, climate disruption, and escalating pollution. For too long, humanity has cut down the Earth's forests, polluted its rivers and oceans, and ploughed its grasslands into oblivion. We are ravaging the very ecosystems that underpin our societies. And in doing so, we risk depriving ourselves of the food, water, and resources we need to survive. The degradation of the natural world is already undermining the well-being of 3.2 billion people, or 40% of humanity. Luckily, the Earth is resilient, but she needs our help. We still have time to reverse the damage we have done. That is why, on this World Environment Day, we are launching the United Nations Decade on Ecosystem Restoration. This global movement will bring together governments, businesses, and civil society and private citizens in an unprecedented effort to heal the Earth. By restoring ecosystems, we can drive a transformation that will contribute to the achievement of all the Sustainable Development Goals. The task is monumental. We need to replant and protect our forests. We need to clean up our rivers and seas. And we need to green our cities.
World Environment Day today, and we're here at Mary MacKillop Park with Canterbury Council in support of their tree planting day. Where Transgrid's committed some of the plants and some of our staff to come down and help plant out the garden beds.
600 seedlings have gone and been planted over the last 45 minutes, so that's fantastic. Nature is very good for us, very good for our mental health.
We're also going to support the council in maintaining the garden beds over 12 months while the plant's established.
Transgrid is one of the more high-profile companies that actually does a lot of good outreach work.
Excellent, high five, you planted your first plant.
Okay, welcome. Whether the trees were planted or not. Let's go to Evangelist for him to explain the videos for us.
The Laudato Si brought it out at the Paris Agreement, and it was a reference point. We've seen the trees planted. The UN boss himself came out, declared the World Environmental Day.
That's right.
And then we saw it launched. The second video was coming from Australia, where you did tree planting. And Ghana here, we have heard that video.
Oh yes, we planted.
No, it is not in doubt.
That's
it
right.
is not in question. Everybody knows that the tree planting exercise is ongoing. Besides that one, the Laudato Si mentioned loss and damage. That is, the richer nations or the developing nations should fund the developing world. Understand? The developed nations should help or fund the developing world, because it is claimed that they have some way exploited the developing nations.
Okay.
So that fund was created. The Laudato Si made mention of it, that it has to be so. Let's watch whether it did come or not.
Or not. Okay. Yes. Production, please, videos 7 and 8. Let's watch it.
Today, a historic step forward in addressing the effects of climate change in the developing world. An agreement decades in the making, a global fund to compensate poorer countries suffering climate disasters.
I hear no objections. It's so decided.
At the United Nations Climate Conference known as COP27 in Sharm el-Sheikh, Egypt, representatives from 200 countries worked into the wee hours to reach the agreement. Details, including dollar figures, are yet to be determined. Developed countries like the US and the European Union and some international financial institutions are expected to be contributors to the so-called Loss and Damage Fund. Vulnerable nations like Pakistan, ravaged by deadly flooding this summer, will be the expected beneficiaries.
What it can do is provide the financial resources that countries will need to rebuild after disasters, to help those who are migrating, who are refugees, to help with food security challenges.
President Biden addressed the summit on Friday.
We see our mission to avert climate catastrophe not only as an imperative for our present and future, but through the eyes of history.
The U.S. and other rich countries had resisted the idea of a fund for years, fearing they could be sued for climate disasters. The new agreement takes away that potential legal liability. A show of unity from nations big and small to address a global crisis. For today, Raf Sanchez, NBC News.
Germany, you have the floor. It is my understanding that some parties may offer to contribute to the fund, and I encourage parties to consider making such pledges during this session. I request the Secretariat to update paragraph 14 of the decision to reflect any offers to contribute made during this conference. Further, I also request the Secretariat to make available on UNFCCC website all offers to contribute as they are made. I recommend that once operational, the board take up the matter of a name for this fund for climate impact response. On these understandings, I invite the COP to adopt the draft decision contained in document FCCC/CP/2023/L.1. Hearing no objections, it is so decided.
Oh, yes, really. It's so decided. Please, we are still streaming live on Facebook, so you can join us on Facebook. That's Homebase TV Ghana. Like the program and then share it for us. Evangelist,
yes.
You said it, and they've said it too.
Yes. So, the Loss and Damage Fund was established at Sharm el-Sheikh, and then in Dubai, the funds were fixed in.
That's right.
So, it was so decided. The Laudato Si, which was the reference point, had enumerated all these things, had aligned all these things that it should be taking place. So came COP23. When they went to the meeting, we saw it.
That's right.
That the Loss and Damage Fund has now been declared established and it's there. Then next on the list, they told us
we are taking them by their words.
Yes, by their words. And then it also has to be in 2023. So now that they have almost finished the stock over there, we left with a Sunday rest that is given to the world.
Okay.
Yes, and that is where we go in now. And that is on page, which is 172, 173, paragraph 237.
That's right.
Let's see how things played out in Dubai.
The same book that is serving as the roadmap has a Sunday rest. What is happening to that? Production, please, video 9. Please, let's watch it. Video 9.
We have the basis to make transformational change happen. Let us finish what we have started. Let us unite, act, and now deliver. I declare open the 6th meeting of the CMA. I'd like to continue consideration of the decisions and conclusions recommended for adoption by the CMA. I will also report back on the outcomes of the consultations undertaken by the Presidency of relevance to the CMA. And I will report on the outcome of the consultations undertaken by the Presidency on building opportunities for youth to engage in the UNFCCC process. The order in which the agenda items will be taken up is posted on the screen. I invite the CMA to consider agenda item 4, first global stocktake. At their plenary.
Okay, the president of COP28 has spoken. Let's go to Evangelist for him to explain them for us.
There are some technical languages over there.
That's right.
Some of us on the studio wouldn't have problem. But for the sake of our viewers, I declare opened the 6th meeting of the CMA. What is the CMA? The UNFCCC's website defines the CMA to mean Conference of the Parties serving as a meeting of the parties to the Paris Agreement, CMA.
Oh, okay.
Yes. That he said the 6th CMA. And that one, when he said I declare open the 6th meeting of the CMA, the 6th meeting of the CMA, you go to the UN CCC website, and then that is the meaning of the.
Oh, okay. United Nations Climate Change.
Yes.
Presidency. Consultation on CMA Agenda 6.
Very good.
Sharm el-Sheikh. Mitigation, ambition, and implementation work program.
Yes.
Referred to in decision 4/CMA.4.
Very good.
That's 9th December 2023.
Thank God. So when the gentleman said, Dr. Jabel, when he declared the CMA 6, it means that he has now declared opened the implementation, the mitigation, ambition, and implementation work program that was kicked off in Sharm el-Sheikh.
That's right.
It was Sharm el-Sheikh was an implementation call.
That's right.
Understand?
That's what they said.
Yes. So when it was drafted over there and accepted, he has now, so I declared it what opened. So COP23 opened the implementation now. You understand?
Okay.
So the Laudato Si that we were following now has opened up all the LIs which are left, all the legislative instruments left in the Laudato Si has now been opened. The CMA. That's for the mitigation, ambition, and implementation. Yes.
Okay.
So why it is open means that any of all the rules left or the laws left in Laudato Si, but the Paris Agreement has to now take their course.
So the mitigation holding the temperature rise.
Yes.
And then adaptation, trying to reduce it. Oh, okay. So
All
measures that they've put in place.
All those things will now work.
Okay.
The next video.
Production, please, video 10. Let's watch it. Video 10.
Ladies and gentlemen, the world needed to find a new way. And by following our North Star, we have found that new path. We have delivered a comprehensive response to the global stocktake and all other. Ladies and gentlemen, the world needed to find a new way. And by following our North Star, we have found that new path. We have delivered a comprehensive response to the global stocktake and all other mandates.
Okay, we've listened to the president, but why this video? Let's go to Evangelist.
Yes, it was part of his closing speech, and we have delivered a comprehensive response to the global stocktake.
That's right.
And all the other mandates.
Nothing is left on the table.
It means so. So all the other mandates includes the Sunday rest on the agenda, which I say is abomination of desolation.
Okay.
Resting on Sunday per se is, you say that oh, it is nothing wrong. But with faith attached to it, we tell you that it is a pagan teaching. And it has come from the pagan shrine, which has been Christianized, scientificalized, and given to the world in the name of faith. That's why I say it's an abomination. Because if he is quoting the Bible to tell that Sunday is like the Jewish Sabbath and they rested on it and God blessed and healed the planet at that time in Israel, so therefore Sunday is playing that role. That's an abomination.
A deceit.
Very well. The next video.
Okay. Production, please. Video 11, if you are ready. Roll it for us. Video 11.
A global goal to triple renewable energy and double energy efficiency. Declarations on agriculture. Declarations on food. Declarations on health. Many more oil and gas companies stepping up for the first time. Stepping up to deliver against very ambitious goals and objectives. And for the first time, to deliver on methane and emissions. And we have language on fossil fuel in our final agreement for the first time ever. All of these are world firsts. And all of these are crucial actions that will help shape a better, cleaner world with greater and more equitable prosperity.
Okay. We saw them clapping, but we don't know why.
Yes. In the Laudato Si, which was a reference point, it's written there in the Laudato Si that Sunday, like the Jewish Sabbath, is meant to be a day which heals our relationship with God,
1,
with ourselves,
2,
and with others, and
3,
with the world.
And with the world, 4.
Very good. So the president said declarations on food,
1,
declarations on agriculture,
2,
declarations on health. That's my point. Declarations on health.
We need healing.
The Laudato Si has told them that Sunday will heal us. So when they declared a declaration on health, the Laudato Si has given them the green light to do so. Let's roll the next video. That's 12 to 16, right?
Video 12 to 16. Production, if you are ready. All the videos. Yes. 12 to 16.
Many, many thanks, Prime Minister. Well, it is my great pleasure now to introduce our next keynote speaker, who needs no introduction, Mr. Bill Gates.
Well, good morning. It's thrilling to have a health-focused event at the COP. It makes a lot of sense because, after all, our work on climate is to improve the human condition, and health, which allows people to thrive, be educated, and fulfill their potential, is the ultimate measure of whether we are reducing inequity. Nobody would be better off in a world with fewer carbon emissions, where we're reducing our interventions to reduce illness, starvation, and death. The reason that climate affects health are multiple. We have vector-borne diseases showing up in places that they never did before. For example, African cities that are at altitudes that mosquitoes didn't thrive at the past. The higher temperatures are changing that. When we have flood events, we see not only do mosquitoes thrive, but we also have diarrheal diseases showing up. And then in a direct sense, particularly for people who farm outdoors, there's the effect of heat stress. The WHO has estimated that over the next 2 decades, climate change will be responsible through these mechanisms for over 5 million deaths.
A few words. First, I think the challenges, the impact of climate change on health is clear. It's heat wave, malaria, dengue, asthma and respiratory diseases, cardiovascular diseases, mental health conditions, you name it. And I think we're agreeing that the impact of climate on health is the most compelling, and that we need to really help people to understand that. And they can understand easier if we tell them about the health or use the health argument. Of course, the ice cap melting or the warming is very important, and it's happening, but it seems distant to many people. So I think this argument could help us, the health argument, because they can understand, okay, our children are dying or our citizens are dying because of all these health conditions as a result of the impact of health. And what do we do to address those? I think we know what the long list of mitigation factors, a long list of adaptation. I think everybody knows. But in my exchange with you, with some of you, you told me, we discussed, you know, many of our leaders understand climate change, but they're not really invested in climate and health. So how do we make sure that our leaders recognize the climate and health? And how can we really make sure that if they understand, then mainstreaming of climate and health in all policies will be easy? Because without first understanding, recognizing, you cannot move into mainstreaming climate and health in policies. So I thought this private discussion would be happy to share it with you, because it has consequences. For instance, some of you said, when discussions on climate change happen at national level, the health minister is not even invited into the meeting. This could be because of lack of recognition of the political leaders, the prime minister or the president, in linking between climate and health. So I think investing on that will be very important, because if the head of state or head of government understands, means it can help also in mainstreaming climate and health in all policies, then it can also go into the multi-sectoral approach that can help us to address climate change and health, both through mitigation and adaptation.
This COP is a pivotal moment. We are at an inflection point, and this is the most consequential COP after Paris. It has become very evident to everyone involved, those who are close to the subject at hand and those who are far from this very important conversation, that we don't need any more evidence for climate disasters. I think it is more evident today than ever before that time has come for the world to unite and for the world to act and to deliver. And COP28 is that platform that will provide such an opportunity for us to unite, act, and deliver. The world is watching. Everyone is expecting unprecedented outcomes of this COP. And I have committed myself and the COP28 presidency team to give it our best and to do everything possible to deliver the most ambitious response to the global stocktake. I also want to thank the members of the COP28 Health Steering Committee and all of our partners from the health community, as well as those who are in the climate industry. You all know how appreciative we are of your efforts. You are all doing great work advancing health and the climate agenda. Colleagues, the climate challenge is increasingly becoming a health challenge. You can no longer divide them. They're very much interlinked and interconnected. Beyond extreme heat, storms, and floods, climate impacts are affecting food security, water security, and of course, clean air. The world.
I truly believe that health can be a game changer for climate action because it matters to everyone. We cannot maintain good health in a world of more frequent and severe heat waves, wildfires, floods, and droughts, with increasing temperatures fueling the spread of infectious diseases, destroying harvests, and increasing water scarcity. Delivering on the Paris Agreement will help to protect both health and the planet. The same air pollution that causes climate change is associated with 7 million deaths a year.
Okay, welcome once again. Evangelist, I saw Bill Gates, and at the moment in the world, when it comes to health, he plays an integral part over there. And then the World Health Organization president himself.
If they want to know what Bill Gates can do, they should revisit the corona history.
That's right.
Then they can tell what the gentleman can do when it comes to health matters. And he hinted that the WHO, that's the World Health Organization, estimated that over the next 2 decades, climate change will be responsible for over 5 million deaths.
And how did he do that calculation?
That's from the WHO. So he's only referencing the WHO.
Okay.
And then the WHO director himself, in the first private meeting, we saw him says, our leaders can only understand the climate issue when we tell them that the climate change is responsible for our children. See, let's tell them our children are dying, our citizens are dying. Then they understand climate change.
Sound the alarm.
Yes. So it's like now blaming everything on climate change. He mentioned the cardiovascular diseases, dengue, whatever. Tell them it is climate change that is killing the people. Pope Francis has told them the Laudato Si that Sunday will bring health.
Will heal us.
Yes.
Our earth.
Very good.
And then our relationship with God.
So the impression has been put in the mind of the people now. Let them know that they are dying because of climate change, and they needed that rest. And Sunday will do the healing. It's part of the process. And then the president of COP, Al Jaber, said we can no longer divide climate and health. He made it clear. And all those things, that's why he said declaration on food, declaration on health. It has been declared. So these are not for fans. These are legislative instruments that they have introduced over there. And then the WHO director again, Tedros Ghebreyesus, that's his name. He said that the same air pollution that causes climate change is associated with 7 million deaths a year. That's air pollution. Now, Pope Francis has said it so clear in the Laudato Si, and then also in the September 20th, 2020 newsprint that came out from the Vatican through the Associated Press, that we should adopt the coronavirus type of rules and regulations in the lockdown to also address climate change, understand, which will reduce pollution.
That's right.
Understand. So now that they have attached health to climate and it has become inseparable, it opens the door now for whatever they want to do to come to pass.
And if Pope says we should adapt the way we fought the climate, how do you call it, the COVID-19?
Yes.
I think the one that is left that they think I think they can implement at the moment is the lockdown.
It's the lockdown. That's what, yes. And lockdown means rest at home, no movement. So we will delve into that next week by God's grace when we come.
Okay,
but I want to tell our viewers, the Lord in His Word in Exodus chapter 15 verse 26 says, and if thou shalt diligently, that is a conditional statement, if thou shalt diligently hearken to the voice of the Lord thy God, then He says what? He will not bring any disease upon you. So if the UN has now declared health a climate matter, the Bible says if we want healing, then we should hear the voice of the Lord, not the voice of man.
By keeping His commandments.
Yes, Sunday is the voice of man. That is it. That's why I say it's an abomination, because the Sunday was coming from the ancient paganism. In Exodus 23:25, it says, ye shall serve the Lord your God, and shall bless thy bread and bless thy water. So we have been told what to do to get the healing. In Isaiah 19:20, Isaiah chapter 1, 19:20, it says, if ye be willing and obedient, ye shall eat the good of the land. If ye refuse and rebel, ye shall be devoured by the sword. So I'm telling all the world, especially Christians, who also joined with the other faith groups, went to Mount Sinai, claimed they have brought us 10 commandments for the climate, which we have to keep, including the Sabbath, which they will very soon introduce. All those things that they are doing are the doctrines of men. But if they will hear and listen to the commandments of the Lord and obey it, then we will receive a proper blessing from the Lord. Other than that, we will go through a period of curse.
Evangelist, the handwritings are clear on the walls.
On the wall, yes.
The voices are very clear, but yet people are not seeing and they are not hearing. But we thank God that at least He has given you that insight to educate us on the things that are unfolding. But I think we have some few messages here. Joe Rengos, I don't know if I've gotten the name right. God bless you, Evangelist, and all the team. Tumfor Augustine also says, thanks, Evangelist. Great message you are giving to the world. God bless you and your host. Okay, God bless you too. And Asari Theophilus comes with a deep one, saying that by the following the North Star, we have found that path. People of God must not forget that Rome is the king of the north, according to Revelation chapter 11.
Daniel 11.
That's right. Daniel chapter 11.
Yeah.
And Sakite also comes here to say that I'm watching. Okay, keep on watching. Evangelist, your last message.
Yes, so I'll end up with the first angel's message. Fear God and give glory to Him, for the hour of His judgment is come. In fact, the only place left now for people to go is to enter into the Seventh-day Adventist Church, go and baptize, and wait for the Lord. Simple.
Yeah.
Because everywhere has been polluted.
That's right.
And I'll begin to explain these things from next week.
Next week. Okay. God bless you, Evangelist. From here, we are moving straight to Angel TV, and we are coming your way with Bible Anywhere from 9 o'clock to 10 o'clock, Angel TV. So you can also watch the program over there as well. What we discussed this evening is on the Mount Olives, part 5. That's what we've discussed this evening. And God willing, everything has been well understood. So let's see how we put our Christian life in the way that Jesus Christ has told us to live our lives, so that when he comes, we will not be found wanting, but rather we can be with him in the skies. Evangelist, God bless you so much. My name is Evangelist Kofi Kakari, and the servant of God that God has been using to bless us is no other person than Evangelist Joseph Anani. So same time next week, Revelation Hour will come your way. Don't forget, we shall know the truth, and the truth shall set us free. God bless you.